after you start like doing races, you meet people, you make friends, you start like getting absorbed into different communities.
Either people run fast and they train till marathon, or they train slowly and then they do ultras.
I have been a runner since childhood. I don't recommend anyone jumping from a half marathon to marathon unless you have put in enough training and gain some leg speed. You have to be stronger in the shorter distance to get stronger in the longer distance.
What I've understood is, as a runner, not to run becomes quite hard. I think mentally also.
I think 99.9% of the runners you see in a race in India are not pro. I did a lot of runs in 2019 and end of the year I was injured.
Hi everyone, welcome to this channel. This is Meenal here and welcome to another episode at WeEndure, where we interview women into endurance sports. And today I have a very special guest, Dr. Juby George, who is into ultra running for a very long time, and she's got great achievements in the ultra running as well as professional world. Rather than me telling about her, it will be really nice to hear straight from herself itself. So welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming over. Can you please give us a little bit introduction about how your childhood was, what kind of a work you do, and so on, please?
First of all, thanks, Meenal, for contacting me. It is like I have been going through your channel and you have interviewed a lot of inspiring women in the field. Some of the women we haven't heard of because they are from different part of the country and their achievements were never heard of to this side of the world. So thanks for maintaining a good channel and a good collection of stories. So I am Juby. I belong to the state of Kerala, but I live in Delhi now. My background is I have a PhD in theoretical physics, and I am right now into research publishing. So I work in the reference works area. We bring out books for professional people of any subject areas. And because we are talking about running today, so I have been a runner since childhood. I have been a sprinter in school. Like I have been part of all the school sports day to win certificate and trophies. And I basically continued that all throughout my college and university days. I played a little bit of team sports like football in university. And I have been I was one of those people who was active all the time, like either do something in the morning or going for a jog. Back in the day, it was jog rather than run. So, and then playing something in the afternoon or sometimes, throw some basketballs around. So that was my background and my life until 2012 when I came to Delhi for my first job. So
2012 was your first job, is it, ma'am? 2012.
Yeah. So basically, after I finished PhD in University of Hyderabad, I moved to IIT Madras for my postdoctoral fellow. So after a couple of 1.5 years of postdoc, I started applying for jobs. So definitely people expect me to be a professor or apply in a university, but I was not interested in teaching. So I applied for publishing jobs. So I got in Delhi. So I moved here. And that was also the end of my university and campus life and multiple sports. So when you come to a place like Delhi for your first job, you are basically a working person and then you don't have any team or friends to play with. So that's why basically I started distance running from 2012 because you get out of the house in the morning for your run and come back. So that became a passion for the rest of my life in Delhi now.
All right. Now, nice to hear that. I think 2012 and 13 was the era when Pinkerton also came into Delhi, right? I think in 2013 was the first time. And before that, we just had one event, Airtel Delhi Half Marathon. Am I right, ma'am?
Yeah. So, but basically, there were a lot of running events in Delhi even before that. Even when I came here, I knew about few events. And but the running boom in India started with this Delhi Half Marathon and Mumbai Marathon. So that kind of projected the whole running scene to common people in the country. and slowly like other races started picking up. So that was also the time when I came to Delhi. I have been seeing people training for Delhi half marathon. It was aired at Delhi half marathon in 2012, 2013. uh, I was part of the 2013 charity run, but I didn't officially didn't race until 2014. So 2014 Delhi half marathon was my first official race ever. But like coming to Delhi in 2012 and seeing people training for a race, that was something inspiring to me. Like for me, running events are like 100-meter dash and 800 meters before, but this was something new to me. Like you can convert your morning jog into a race and you can go home with a medal. So that was something inspiring. Though I have seen some of my friends training for the Hyderabad half marathon back when I was in Hyderabad University, but then I never thought it's something for me. Like because those are for the crazy people, like running around Hussain Sagar for no reason. So, but when I came to Delhi, I could see like in person people actually training and running and like regardless of their pace or time, like they were finishing with so much of happiness and sense of achievement. So that was inspiring.
That's infectious. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, ma'am, what an irony. Most of the people I talk to, they always, when they're not have not done a marathon or a half marathon, they always think the other people who are doing it are crazy. And they always think that, okay, probably we would not be that crazy people like the others. And we end up being crazy itself. So that's the irony. I think like running just attracts, and then once you start, you just strive to do longer and better and so on.
Yeah, see, that's like the human nature. Like, you want to step up a bit. Like, you did a 10K, and then like okay, I can do a half marathon because it's just some more. You train a little bit longer, and once you do a half marathon, you just goal is okay. I can go till 30K in a long run and see if I can do a marathon. So that's how we progress. Yeah.
Absolutely. Ma'am, before we move forward, I think for all the listeners, I would just want to, list out all the big runs that Juby ma'am has done, apart from, of course, all the training runs that she must have put in so many miles all throughout these many years. I think 2014, she did her first half marathon. Then 2016, she did her marathon. And 2018, she did a sub 4 marathon. That means a marathon within 4 hours. Then 2018, she started with the ultras, wherein she did an ultra trail in Malnad Ultra, where she finished sixth. And then she has done Mumbai Marathon. She has done a trailathon, 56 kilometers, where she was also a course record winner. And then she's done 12 hours run in 2019, Bangalore, where she finished second. And then she's done 100 plus kilometers in Malnad Ultra, where she finished third. And then there is 24-hour stadium run in Chandigarh. Ma'am, I was there in that run, 2020. Tough Man Chandigarh run, right? Yeah, she clocked 159 kilometers, and then she did her first Comrades run in 2022. And then she's also qualified for Boston, running in New Delhi Marathon in 2023. So with that, the list is endless. I think what I've understood from all the achievements is you are a fast runner, yet you are a long distance runner. And that's not something very common. Either people run fast and they train till marathon, or they train slowly and then they do ultras. So you are a rare mix. What I've understood is who is fast, yet who's able to cover these long distances. So, ma'am, coming back from half marathon, now when you started, first of all, ma'am, when you started training for these runs, were you doing it all alone or were you training in a group?
So when I first started, like it was 2012, I was new to the city and I didn't know, like, the dynamics of running groups. So I was running all on my own. I was running around the park. So basically, I didn't know how to train because I didn't want to jump into the race scene just like that. So I was like doing something for my fitness. And in 2013, I decided that, okay, next year I will be racing. So I was basically looking up online how to train for a half marathon and downloading training plans. I was basically doing everything on my own, and I didn't know much about what is cross training, what is rest day. They said like run 5 times a week, so I just pick my 5 times, 5 days, and have a long run. Obviously, everyone later I realized everyone runs long run on a Sunday. Of course, you are also free on a Sunday, and basically that was it. So I even slowly after you start like doing races, you meet people, you make friends, you start like getting absorbed into different communities. So once you have like being acquainted to few people who are running, so like we have short group runs. But like even after 11 years after I started running, still I run solo. So once in a month or twice in a month, I run with someone or in a group. But even now, I prefer running alone or training alone. So maybe that's the habit, because that's how I started. I still prefer that. So I still like call myself a solo runner most of the time. So it's a different thing.
Yes, absolutely. Solo runner, I think I agree, ma'am. It's a different perspective. Some people don't like it at all, and who likes it prefers to go solo most of the time. Absolutely. So, ma'am, I think 2014, once you did your first half marathon, how was it feeling? Like, what was it easy for you to finish that Airtel Delhi half marathon, right? So, was it easy?
So actually, I had a lot of fun, like because I didn't know. Like how fast a runner was, so I decided that okay, I'll just chill. I went with my phone in my pocket, and I was messaging my cousin on the halfway route. That okay, I crossed the halfway. I took a photo and sent to people, and basically I was chilling. I was having the greatest time of my life. I didn't care like whether it was hurting, because I was training slow. Obviously, I didn't do any. I didn't have any time in my mind, so I finished around 2 hours 17 minutes, and then I was quite happy to finish it and get that medal. And then people are asking, oh, did you actually train for it? I said, yeah, no, I was just running and I was having so much fun. Then they said, hey, you can do better. So the first half marathon and the first finisher medal for me was like, memories, like so having so much fun and like bullying my friends to come to the finish line after that, and then we going for a pizza after that. Like we didn't care, because like if you had like 2 hours in your mind and have a target, and like you will be like crazy enough to focus and finish. So the first one for me is like so fun. So I still remember that.
All right. No, ma'am, then I think after 2016, after your first marathon, you did a sub-4 marathon in Mumbai. Was that Tata Mumbai marathon?
Yeah, that was the Mumbai marathon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now doing a sub-4 is not easy within 4 hours. Did you train specifically keeping the timing in mind, or how did it? Like, was it something that came naturally, or was it something that you targeted that, okay, now you will improve your timing?
Yeah, so that didn't come easy for me, because when I did the first marathon, like again, people tell you things like you can do better, and you like, oh yeah, I can do better. So my first marathon, even after standing around in the junction waiting for green light, so I did it 4.5 hours. And when I told people, yeah, I was just trying, and then yeah, you should try for support. And again, I was not training specifically for the marathon like right away, and then I was training for a half marathon in 2016, 2017. 2017 half marathon, Delhi half marathon, I did a really good race and I was really happy with that. So immediately I didn't train well for the marathon part, but I did a couple of marathons during that year, which I just like narrowly missed the 401, 404. So, but I knew that it was coming. The previous year, I thought I'll get a sub 4 in Mumbai, but still it was the climb and the heat. I finished like way over my target. So, but after the 2017 Delhi half, I knew that okay, the speed is there, I can get it, and that was a good run in 2018 in Mumbai. So that was like a milestone, and I know that okay, now it's time for ultras. because like even I don't recommend anyone jumping from a half marathon to marathon unless you have put in enough training and gain some leg speed. You can do a sub 3 half marathon and decide, oh, okay, tomorrow I should train for marathon. Like you are not there, right? You have to build that leg speed, you have to build that endurance, you have to put in some strength for the quads. So I just want to make sure that I get that sub 4 mark to, go longer. Even for a half marathon, I thought about a marathon only after I got like one sub 150 half marathons, because that was like that's the standard. You have to be stronger in the shorter distance to get stronger in the longer distance.
You are a professional. You achieved a sub 4 marathon. To be honest, what I understand is it's not necessary to do a marathon for the health, from the health aspect. You can be fit enough after doing a 10K also. Now, still in 2018, you started with the ultras. Now, what really pushed you to do ultra marathons? As such, what was the mindset and why?
Yeah, so so I didn't have the specific distance in mind, but I was attracted to the trail running, and I was indeed like racing some of the shorter trail races in Delhi, like Trailathon, and one of the races, like people have told me, and then when I looked at the photos of those forests and tea estate was Malnar Ultra. So I was like telling them, okay, I have to be there. Look at those forests, look at those trails. You have to run there. So their shortest distance was 50 kilometers. So I was like, okay, 50 or something, like you have to be there. So that's why I registered. And like the two kind of a goals will be achieved, as you will become an ultra runner, plus you get to run on trails. So, and Malnar Ultra is one of the most well organized races in India. Like especially the Western Ghats, and it's a tropical place and it's so beautiful. And after rains, it's so slushy and dirty, and that's why we trail runners aspire to go get out of the trail and go get dirty. So even that was a really nice experience. It was like in a place where you won't have any signal, and you basically picked up in a bus from your accommodation, 1 hour bus ride, get into the start line, just run around the coffee estate and finish. So I had like a couple of my friends from Delhi, like we went in it. Basically from Bangalore, you have to take a train to that particular place. I forgot the name of that place. Yeah. And it was also like the experience, the train journey and the bus journey and the race. It was amazing. And then there also we get to see like the top actually runners from the country and abroad for that race. So that was also inspiring. That was also the motivation to do that race as your first ultra. Yeah.
The way you described it, I was just trying myself. If I'm just standing outside and looking at the people getting, all dirty in the mud, slush, and still running, God knows for what, it's hard to understand. Right? I think as a non-runner, everyone thinks so. But once you jump in, only then the person understands what you really get out of such running. So, but it's beautiful, absolutely. So, wow, ma'am. After that, now that you did this Malnad Ultra, also, I see that you have been going. You have also, ma'am. Would you want to talk a bit about trail running? That's something I think you're very passionate about. So, what is this trail running all about? I think you are also part of Capital Trailathon in India. So, yeah.
Basically, in Delhi, you see there are a lot of forest areas, city forests, and a lot of trails. And we also had few areas like, I don't know if you have been to Sanjayvan or Aravali Biodiversity Park or even Button.
I have not been.
So, yeah, you should come.
I should, yes.
Yeah.
I'll be there one day.
So running on trails and running in these natural spaces is so one of my passion. Like even when I started running, I have had those once in a month expedition to the trails. So I never missed. And when these trail races like Trailathon started in Delhi, so I have been participating in like 28 kilometers and later 56 kilometers. and like, trying to absorb everything around, all the elements around. Like, you are not on road, you don't have to think about the traffic there. You are out there on those, dusty or dirty roads and tracks, and being running with nature. And so initially when I started, as I said, when I thought about ultras, I thought about a trail race to start my ultra journey, because that's the best place to be. Like, you can run longer on a trail without getting bored, rather than a road, like, trying to manage all the people and the traffic and the vehicle. So coming to Capital Trails, so we are a running group in Delhi. Like, we explored, it was started by two of my good friends, and we have group runs every month, exploring every different trails in Delhi and NCR. So, and we also invite, like, if you are interested, you can come along, Meenal, one day. We'll be happy to show you around some of those natural spaces. Like, basically, like, being with nature, like, and our motivation is like, take more people to the trails and get them, like, have a view of what we have. And like, also my personal interest is like, okay, let people learn these are the spaces, and these are the places you should not be, like, it's not a dumping ground for your filth. Like, you should maintain them like as it's your home. So keep your forest areas clean. It's not dumping yard. So if you like, go to certain ends of these trails, you can see it is littered, like, people dumping their garbage there. Those are the heartbreaking scenes. But otherwise, we have a beautiful natural forest areas in Delhi, and that's, I think, like, percentage wise, that's probably the largest for a metro city.
Absolutely. So, ma'am, how long is generally the distance?
There are short distance and long distance. So short distance, you can opt for 8 kilometers or 10 kilometers. So two groups will do two different loops. So check out our website, capitaltrails.in. So for more information, if anyone wants to be part of, if anyone is in Delhi and to explore trails with the running group.
Sure, I'll put it in the show notes as well, ma'am. The link. Absolutely, I think it will be pleasure, and people would definitely. I will be there one day for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Now, would you want to talk a little bit about the injury, as you were saying? Now, that's something that, as a runner, everyone would want to understand. And like, what happened, why happened, what did you do forward, not the injury to repeat?
So see, we are like, this is like, we are amateur runners. We are not pros. We are not aiming to go to Olympics, or like, being paid by the country to, to run in certain world championships or anything like that. Most of us, like there will be few people like who are training to be part of the national team, but most of us are amateur runners. So you don't have to do all the races under the sun, just to, like, just to do the, get the medal or anything. So 2019, I did a lot of race because I feel, oh, I didn't do this, I have to do this. So I didn't try this, I have to do this. So I did the 12-hour run. Okay, I need to do the 24-hour run. Like, because there are people also telling you, you never did the 24 run. You could do a lot. Like, you can finish on top if you do a 24-hour run. And then, like, you just go with, what people say, hey, can I? Oh, I can. So you are really good. And then, like, you just go with whatever people say, and you just register for like if there are 12 months in a year, like, you register for 12 marathons in a year, and that was not wise. So by the end of the year in 2019, I could feel my ITBs slightly, troubling me. And I finished the 2020 Mumbai just to get the Prakan Slam. I was advised not to run, but I ran with the support my pacer and finished. And I thought, okay, I had registered for the 24-hour stadium run in Chandigarh. So that was in February, and everyone said, don't do it. you are not the ITB has not healed, but still, like, you after a few weeks you feel you're healed. And like I did the 24-hour stadium run in Chandigarh, that like broke me completely. I was okay in the first half of the race, and someone gave me coffee at night when I'm not supposed to drink coffee. My stomach had a problem, then my legs started hurting after. So the last 8 hours of the run, I basically didn't do running. I was taking rest in the tent, and like, because we can't rest for too long, so we had to do like loops and you're walking. So basically, even though it was a 24-hour run, I did the running probably for 16 hours. And that was also a wake up call for me. Like, okay, too much. This
Okay,
is too
ma'am,
much.
I would just want to stop here. I'll just tell for the viewers. So, ma'am did 24-hour stadium run, which happens in a stadium in a loop of 400. And there, I think the rule is somewhere around that for continuously, you cannot sit continuously for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, within 15 minutes you have to keep moving. If you probably sit for 14 and a half minutes, you have to make one loop and then you can sit again for 14 and a half minutes, but you can't sit there longer for like 30 minutes or 1 hour. And ma'am said that as she ran probably lesser time, but she still clocked 159 kilometers, which is a huge achievement. Yeah, please, ma'am. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So I still tell people I did running only for 16 hours. Probably the rest was just, not getting disqualified and keep moving. And trying to, I sneak into the physio tent, okay, there is you can lie down there for 10 minutes and then you come back. After that, of course, the pandemic happened, and there was nothing else we could do for the next 2 years. So that was also the time we were stuck at home, and I could focus on a lot of strength training, and uh, I was having my own mobility routine. Because if you remember, what did you do in the pandemic? Like, basically you're looking at for workouts on YouTube. YouTube became our training partner and coach, and I was looking at a lot of videos for mobility, and then that's how I kind of tried to recover from whatever injury I had. And I also was consulting a dog, but then during the pandemic, like all connections kind of, like, we are not training anymore, so the life was a bit different.
I want to specifically understand this. I think the Tough Man Chandigarh happened in
February or March. Yeah.
February or March, just before the pandemic itself.
Yeah.
Now you had an IT band issue. So how much time did you take to recover? Did you fully rest or did you work out during that period also?
So I did work out. So the thing about IT band is, like, you have any kind of injury, you can't just stop everything and okay, just do the icing and recover. That won't happen. We need the mobility exercises, we need the strengthening, you also need a little bit of running. And luckily or unlucky for me, I don't know what should have been the correct routine for my case, that everything got shut down. And like, basically a lot of people did some running during the pandemic in their house, but I don't count them as running. But I think those couple of months of strength and mobility and little bit of movement within my house, like I used to walk a lot or move faster a lot, probably that may have helped me heal or recover.
So just want to understand now, ma'am. I think in a way it was good for you. At least everyone else is also not running. You find solace in some, that I would not say completely, but you're not allowed itself to run at that time. So that's a solace that no one can go out. But at the same time, dealing, what I've understood it as a runner, not to run becomes quite hard. I think mentally also. Now let's talk about strength training a bit. How important do you think strength training is? And if someone is a beginner or someone is training for ultras or maybe a marathon, how much do you think the person should pay attention to strength training?
It is important. When you're running, it's just the legs, like you're just pounding on road. And it's like a repetitive movement. And like running as such is a you put a lot of stress on your legs and everything. And it's not just the legs that is part of it. Like when you're running, your shoulders are basically moving. There are a lot of movement involved. So for runners, or like if you are involved in any kind of sports that involve like cardiovascular, that requires cardiovascular fitness, you need the strength training. So can you think of a football player like without like who is lean and no muscles? It's not possible. You need to have that muscle mass for any kind of an activity or any kind of sports that involve like cardiovascular fitness. So for like especially like I recently did the Comrades down run, and that is like if you don't have any quad strength and if you don't have any legs workout, that strength you have in build up, you can't do the down run. Like you can't run downhills without getting all the pressure on your knees. And for me, I come from the family where we are troubled by the arthritis. I have a constant knee pains all throughout the winter. So for me, it is important to have my quads strengthened so that like all the load won't go to my knees. The same for like the upper body. We need to have proper upper body strength, uh, so that like I have very poor posture and very bad upper body strength. So I have to make sure I, stay disciplined for the strength training. And it is also important, like, okay, runners, we don't lift weights, but you need to lift weights.
Mhm.
So
That most of the people find it boring, especially runners. You get that runner's high with the strength training.
yeah.
I think.
But like, yeah, so that's where all the injuries are coming from. Like you have people say, oh, I don't run because I have a knee pain. Like, why is your knee pain coming? Because you are just running and you're putting all your load on your knee. Your quads are weak, your thighs are weak, your glutes are weak, you don't have any hip mobility. So basically you need to, make sure that you are strengthened. Yeah.
Yes. All right. And ma'am, then let's talk about nutrition a bit. Now that you've been running since a decade, more than a decade now. So did you make any changes to your nutrition? I have a couple of questions here. I'll ask in one go. Please let me know however you feel comfortable. So do you take any artificial protein powders? Do you take any gels? Did you modify your diet so that it supports your running and strength training? So how are you doing it all?
When I started running, I didn't have any nutrition plan. So all I know that like, okay, you can have gels and you can have some electrolyte drinks, and then you have it like go by the packet, have every 45 minutes. And so I still have gels, and whenever there are all my screwed up races, like quotation screwed up races, are when like I skip the gel because I didn't like the taste of it and I feel pukish. So so you need to have the nutrition plan before any long run or even a race. And especially now it's summer, we cannot skip the electrolyte drinks or sport energy drinks during your summer runs. I may have switched from different brands of gels, but like for me, gels during a race is a must. And then I usually go with my own electrolyte drink during a race because I don't trust what they are given in a uh, the races. Maybe an exception will be the ultra trails when it is a long and you might be walking and you are not running fast and you have the bandwidth to have whatever they give. And in terms of diet, I don't care much about diet because I don't do many of the fast foods. I don't take excess alcohol. Everything is in moderation. So it's just like a lot of greens and a balanced diet, like because I come from a tropical place, so I take a lot of rice. So for me, I have a lot of carbs. But also, I cannot give advice to people like what they should eat because it varies from person to person. You have to, uh, uh, it takes a little bit of experience also to understand what's for you the day before the race or what works for you the day before the long run. And you need to, so just comes with a lot of trial and error and experience. So diet aspect I cannot give you what should you.
That's okay. I can understand some people don't bother too much, but they automatically eat clean. They are used to eating clean. So that also happened. So they didn't have to bother much about it as well. I
So one
understand.
thing I can advise you is like I don't do it anymore, but like a few years ago, I used to track my meal. Like there are a lot of apps where you can enter what you ate. Like okay, one sandwich before your run, one banana before your run. Track all your meals, everyday meals, and it gives you the calorie count, and then you will know. Okay, I am eating a lot. I'm like not having enough protein or not having enough calcium. So that, like, you can start using those apps to have an idea of what kind of components going into your diet every day, and then, like, now I know what I should not eat too much and what I should have more. So I don't track anymore. But like when you are starting out as a runner, this is something you can do so that you will have an idea. So for most of the cases, midway through the race, midway through the day, the app used to tell me you have enough sugar for the day. So, but still I know that I'll have my evening tea with sugar. So I will be always overshoot my sugar limit. But yeah, the app used to also tell me you didn't have enough calcium today. So,
Oh, okay. Is it okay? Now, ma'am,
yeah,
what about the protein powders? Do you take any protein powders?
yeah, I usually take protein powders after I work out, not on a daily basis, because daily I like if I have a rest day, so like I really go with my regular meal. But if I after my run I have like a good shaky protein, like it also feels good, like And right now in India we have a lot of clean plant-based proteins, and you can just the options, like, and there are a lot of influencers on Instagram. You will see, so there is no lack of information everywhere, so you can,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, ma'am. That's really nice to know. Ma'am, from there, we'll move on to the female aspect. Now, being a female, during these runs, these mammoth runs, so during the periods, what do you use? Do you use pads or cups, menstrual cups or tampons? What do you prefer
So
personally?
I never go to train with tampons or those menstrual cups. I know that environmental aspects, like the cups are better, but still I am like one of those old timers, like feel comfortable in the pads, and like that's not environment friendly. I understand, but I never trained myself for that. Probably I should move. Uh, it's challenging, especially I have my my current half marathon PB on like running in a pad, like, and then ending up with a lot of rashes. And it's not pretty, but like there are a lot of runs who train also with the menstrual cups, and then I totally recommend that. And an environment friendly perspective, that's the best choice you should.
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. So, ma'am, now that you've done a lot of different kind of runs in India, you've also done runs and probably outside India as well. So you've done Sydney Marathon, you've done the longer stadium runs, 24 hours run, you've done the trail ultras, you've done the comrades also. What next? What's in the future?
So so for the last couple of years, I am on like, doing a lot of road races, like not lot, like only one or two races, one marathon a year. I have come down from 4 marathons in a year to one in a year. So I am happy there because I have found my leg speed, and I could run faster. Probably, I am also doing a lot of my easy runs on the trail. So I am right now in a nice, happy place of having a balanced run on road and off road. So probably next year I will want to come back to the trails and trail races a bit more. And in next January I am doing the Wagaman trail. So it's a ultra race, but they also have a 30-kilometer race, which I will be doing with my brother. So my brother has not run any distance longer than the half marathon. So we like, it would be a good experience running with him, and like, getting him finish the longest.
I think I really found it very beautiful goal to probably help your brother cross the finish line and crossing it together. It will be very nice. All right. So, ma'am, it was really wonderful to know all the things from you. But before we wind up this session, any last message that you would want to give to people out there who are listening to you?
So my only message would be like find time for movement, and whether it is running, you don't have to listen to this podcast and think, okay, I have to start running. So you don't have to start running tomorrow. So you just have to keep moving. And either if you can't run, like, go for a walk in the park in the evening with your family or your dog or your other pet, after putting in even hours of movement, like, don't just sit on your chair or your couch and just spend the rest of the day, like, not moving. So be balanced, and also find time to find time to be with nature, like, as I said, like, Meena will put in the show notes the link for Capital Trails. Yeah, come join us for one of those and experience. If you are living in a city, try to explore a little bit for those natural spaces of our trails. And it is also a good, and you will also learn a lot, and you also learn to give back to the community, and then, like, preserve the nature. And
Absolutely. I think, ma'am, on that note, lovely message. Keep moving always. I think on that note, ma'am, we can close the session. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. And I'm absolutely obliged to hear you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Meenal. It was a pleasure being here, and thanks again.